Good early afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another one of our videos. Tommy's over here at the basketball court, and we figure, well, maybe I'll do a little bit of flapping. There's nothing much to talk about. There's nothing much to talk about, folks. Nothing. But we'll watch Tommy play some baskets. You ready, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful day, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, this is Mother's Day. So I figured we'll go up here and we'll watch Tommy shoot some baskets here. Normally we do this handheld, but we brought the tripod along. Nobody's here. It's beautiful. Sometimes, the last couple times we went up here, actually, we had to leave because there was a couple of young people up here that were up here, which is fine, but they were playing rap crap, and there's anything I hate is that rap crap garbage playing, and we left. Neither one of us can stand that garbage. So, but that's usually later in the day. It's around noontime now, a little after noon. On this Mother's Day, I want to wish all of you a very happy Mother's Day. So Tommy figures he want to get a little bit of exercise in here. We got a beautiful day. Got no real projects going on. Today would be a good day for them, but it's supposed to rain later on today anyways. You'd never know it now. It's beautiful. But like I say, there's no projects going on. I eventually want to do some body work on the 90 van, but again, turn this camera. I'm using Tommy's tripod, but okay, here it is. Yeah. All right, I had to loosen up. I'm not used to using this particular tripod. There's body work that needs to be done. Nothing major except under the wheel wells there. That's major. But I have to get materials and buy a lot of things that I don't have. I haven't been going to Harbor Freight lately, mainly because they don't have coupons anymore. I did buy a Warrior 3/8 inch 12-volt drill for 20 bucks. And I talked to the manager over there, and they say they don't have any, they don't have the coupons. There is no mail-in coupons. It hasn't been for a year or two. So I needed to replace the one I had, which had NiCad batteries in it. And I had to keep the battery on constant charge, and the charger and the battery got very warm because there was some bad cells in it. The drill itself was fine. It was a Drill Master, so I replaced it with a Warrior, which is a lot lighter and a smaller battery pack, but it's lithium-ion battery. So that's the only thing I bought at home at Harbor Freight, and that was a couple weeks ago. So there is always a need for a rechargeable drill. I have my DeWalt, which is a very good one. I use that as a driver. I use that for driving heavy screws and stuff. So I haven't, I need to get a lot of stuff yet. I need to get self-etching primer from Harbor Freight. I keep saying Home Depot. Harbor Freight. I need to get undercoating from from Harbor Freight and everything. I need to also get another can of or two of fluid film for the minivan, and I have not done any work on the sheet metal work underneath that yet, and that's an upcoming project. But I have to go and get some galvanized sheet metal. I have thin galvanized sheet metal, probably 24 gauge, which is really too thin, because the area that needs to be done, the original metal is a little thicker than that, so I really want to take care of that. And I'll probably just trim it out a little bit and shoot some more fluid film in there, and then close it up. That's probably what I'll do. And I'll probably a day like today would be perfect, but I don't have the materials right now. I have to buy the fluid film. The Eastwood that somebody sent me, and I have no idea who sent that to me, is fine, but you can't put that on top of the fluid film that's already on there. And the big van has some fluid film on it too, so so there's things I got to do, and it's hard for me to do it, not as convenient, easy I should say, as it used to be for me to do these things. Uh-oh. I guess we're going to have competition. It's not a problem as long as they're not playing rap crap. A lot of them bring their own so-called music with them. Not all of them, some of them. But there's plenty of room here. There are 4 of these basketball things here. There's plenty of room for everybody to play, so that's not a problem. One time we were here and there was about 10 boys playing out here, and all 4 of the hoops were taken. So yeah, there's 3 guys coming now, so we'll just let this go. I figured it was my idea to try and say, why don't they do a little flapping while Tommy plays instead of walking around with the camera. It's much easier to watch a video when the camera is steady. The boys are going down the other end here. It's a nice area. We enjoy coming up here. By the way, I'm using Tommy's Play Sport. I gotta be careful not to call it a Play Touch. That's 2 different cameras. A little breezy, but feels good today. Now, being Mother's Day, we don't go out because the wife don't feel like going out. Not feeling right. So be a home event today. Later on. This tripod keep moving all the time. I'm not even touching it. PlaySport is working really well. I don't use it all that much. They do good in the daylight outside. They're not too good for indoor use. In case you're not familiar with the Kodak PlaySport, it's about 10 years old. It's about as old, or maybe a year older than the ZE1. And unlike the ZE1, it does not have a USB dongle on it. You use the cable, the USB cable, I guess a micro USB to standard USB. It takes the same cable as the Kodak ZE1, and you charge the battery that way, and you also get the files off the PlaySport that way. Or you can remove the card. The battery is removable in these cameras as well, unlike the ZE1 rather, which is not removable. So nice day today. Tommy's wearing his, I call it Poke Man just to be funny, but it's Pokemon or whatever. Is that what they call that thing, Tom? That shirt you got?
It's a Pokemon.
Yeah, I've seen them things. You got that for your birthday from Mom and us, right?
Yep.
Mom does all the shopping anyways.
I like it.
All right, well, we're still recording. We haven't stopped it. So he's got that. He's got the matching, well, it comes with a hoodie and a matching mask. The 19th of this month, which is May, everything supposedly is 100% no social distancing. From what I understand, no masking required outside. Inside, yes, but if you've been vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask outside. And my wife and I have been vaccinated, JJ Johnson Johnson, and Tommy's got the Modena, and that second shot is coming up this coming Tuesday for Tommy. And my brother is coming up the 24th of this month for his second shot. So my brother's taken care of. We got his taken care of a few weeks ago at Walmart. And we didn't have a hassle. Finally we got it so that we can get him taken care of, and he's doing well. And other than that, I can't think of anything else new to discuss. A little cloudy here, nothing major. Sun's behind the clouds right now. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, but I was watching a lot this morning, well, after we got back from breakfast, of course. And I said to Tommy, it's too nice of a day to stay inside and watch videos. We can do that at any time. Let's go out and let's go to the park, and that's where we're at. Last few times we went here, we walked the trail again, but the trail is pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing. So we didn't video it. No point in that. We enjoy it, but my knees don't enjoy it. Going downhill, I have a bad time with it. I don't have a walking stick. I really should get one. You got the other boys down at the other end. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not sure how the camera shows, but Tommy's getting the ball. And he's going back. I'm at a disadvantage. I can't see the viewfinder when I turn the camera like that because I'm sitting down on a bench. Kind of breezy today, as you can hear, I'm sure. Yeah, get your exercise today. That's good. Oh, I hope you like this video. We'll let Tommy do the editing as always. And give you something to watch, I guess, on this Mother's Day. This Kodak PlaySport, unlike the ZE-1, produces MOV files rather than MP4, and they work fine in Windows Movie Maker as long as you're using WVGA. If you're using 720p, of course the file is larger, but because it's an MOV, there are, if it's too long, there are failures when Tommy's doing it. So if you run it through Sony Movie Studio 13 when you're doing 720p or 1080p, which this camera will also do, like I say, they're MOV, but if you put them through Sony Movie Studio 13, there is no problem. It's just that it makes it a huge file, but he's able to do that without a problem. Windows Movie Maker is a great program, great, easy to use video editing program. But there are some file formats that it likes better than others. AVIs are one of them that it likes. It works very well with AVIs, works very well with MP4, even at 720p, but takes longer. And as long as you don't have a video 45 minutes or an hour long, usually okay with that. Trees, as you can see, are starting to bloom. Just starting. Hey, got it. You got a basket, Tom. Good. Yeah. I was talking so much, I tell you the honest truth, I wasn't paying attention. When I get to flapping, sometimes I don't pay attention. But it's on video, so it's for all to see. So, our lives are not exciting. We live a simple life. And, you know, if you know me, I shoot from the shoulder. I don't hold back anything. And, you know, sometimes I just have to speak my mind when it comes to things like buying new cars and stuff like that. Because, you know, people are not in our boat, so they have no idea, you know, on fixed incomes, living on a small pension, living on a small Social Security, because I retired at age 62, so you had to take a cut on that. It was either that or would have lost the job because of my disability. I had to leave early because of my severe arthritis in my back and hips and stuff like that. And I elected to leave early for that. And because I'm not under those stresses of work anymore, I'm doing physically better considering. But of course, as I get older, I'm not doing too good that way now. Um, so, basically, we have to do what we have to do. When you buy a new car, I just want to touch quickly on that again. When you buy a new car, even a car that's a couple of years old, you're paying an enormous amount of taxes, property taxes, insurance, rates on it. You have to pay for having insurance for your car to, if you buy new, you have to have insurance on that to cover anything, and all your taxes and everything else. By the time you get through, you do have $500 to $700, $800 payments. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, you can get special deals, but those deals are going to cost you years and years of paying off. 5, 6, 7 years of paying off a car. Or unless you lease, and when you lease, leasing is renting. That's all it is. It's renting. It's like when you own a condo. You don't own that. You got the condo association that dictates what you can do to your own place. I never could see that. It's renting is what it is. Supposedly you, in quotation marks, you own it, but you really don't. When you own something, you have a right to do what you want on it. If they're dictating what you have to do, what you can and cannot do, like you can't paint it a certain color, you can't put ham radios, antennas outside, or anything else, that's dictation to me. You do not own it. The condo association owns it. That's the same way with leasing. You do not own the car, you are renting the car. You still have to pay for oil changes, maintenance on it, and everything else. So those of you who think you're getting a deal, you're just fooling yourself. But there are people that feel leasing is better, and maybe to some people it is. So, but we don't have car payments. Yes, I didn't add it up. We spent thousands of dollars, several $1,000s in a year's time on the minivan. Probably, I don't know, maybe $1,500, $2,000 in 1 year at the very, very, very most. Break that down for that 1 year. And yeah, we had some, you can call it car payments. But on the average, in, I don't remember, 5 or 6 years we had that car now. I don't think we spent more in 5 or 6 years than probably $4,000 on the car. 3.5 to $4,000 on the car in 6 years. You divide that by 6 years, however months. I'm no good at math. 6 years, 12 months in each year. I'd have to count on my fingers because I can't do the math, but you do the math. And you break it down, and I'll tell you, I can assure you, I'm guessing, of course, that it's not going to be very much, a lot smaller payments per month than most of you, if not all of you, are paying now with a newer car or a brand new car. So, to each his own, and I'm not going to get into there's a word for it, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to get into a, what contest starts with P with anyone about this. But, that's the way I feel about it. You're not going to change my mind. I know what's going on, I don't need to go and do that. And when you're up in years like I am, you don't want to take on car payments. You know, you don't. And you miss a payment or two, the bank is going to come after you and get it. The only thing we have to worry about is paying our taxes on our things. We don't have any problem with that. And the vehicle needs repairs. If we can't afford it 1 month, well, the vehicle will have to sit there. If it comes to a point where it's not running, we use the other vehicle. There's another reason why we have 2 vehicles, you know. So we can't afford it 1 month. When we get more money in, we add to it, and then we can go and have it repaired. That hasn't been the case yet, but you know, you got a car payment of hundreds of dollars, and I'm not going to give an exact amount, but let's say $500-600 a month, $400, whatever you are paying. You got to meet that payment every damn month. If you don't, you're going to lose that car. If we miss a payment, let's say we got to put $500 in the car, we don't have it this month. Well, maybe we have $250, so we better save another $250 on the next month, and then we can go and get it. Well, the car sits in the yard. There's no repossession company coming to get it. So, you know, use your head, you know. But if you got a good job and you know you're going to use it, I mean, sure. If I was still working and I had a good job, good health, and we had lots of money in the bank, yeah, we'd drive new cars, probably just like anybody else. But I'll tell you what, I love the old cars. They're easy to work on. I can do the repairs myself. Even the 90 van is difficult to work on because of that doghouse that you got to take off, and it's in the way and it's hard to get out to work on, but it's still easier than trying to work on the minivan. Everything's so packed in there, and with my eyesight and everything else and getting much older every day, it's better to just have somebody do it, you know. When I had my '63 Ford Galaxy for 17 years, I had that car for 17 years, been all over with it, been to Wheeling, West Virginia many times, been to Valley Forge, Gettysburg, Fort Ligonier, Erie, Pennsylvania, been Salem, Massachusetts, you name it, been all over in the 70s, or in the 60s even, mostly in the 70s. I did a lot of my traveling, and replaced the engine with a rebuilt. It cost me, I think, $350, I think, at the Ford garage for a rebuilt short block to put in there, as I recall. And I had my cousin Tommy, many years ago, back in the early 70s, replaced the engine in that, and because the original one was a 223 6-cylinder, we replaced it with another 223 6-cylinder. 63 Ford Galaxy, the engine was way too small for that car, and you know, it loaded it up with cameras and suitcases and stuff. I traveled by myself back in the 70s. To go to Wheeling, I'd have the trunk full of cameras, and I had 35mm cameras with a 900mm telescopic lenses and extenders, and 28mm lens. I had everything on a Pentax K1000. Before that, I had a Petri Penta. Tommy's getting warm now. He's got to change into. You got to get a little warm, huh, Tom?
Yeah.
All right, we'll just set it over here. Getting a little warm. That's all right. You're getting good exercise, and we're getting you all on video while I flap my ugly gums for everybody. All right. All right, you get back over there. Been all over with that car, you know. And 223 6-cylinder didn't have much power at all. I carried in that car spare distributor caps, spare fuel pump, spare voltage regulator. It had a generator. That car was problematic with voltage regulators that the contacts would stick on and overcharge. I had everything in the trunk of that car. If I broke down on Pennsylvania Turnpike, I'd pull over. I didn't. I never did. But I did break down on the, I think it was at Route 84 in New York State, I believe, connecting up to the Pennsylvania Turnpike, up in the mountains, and the points went bad on me. The condenser, I guess, broke down. What I did is I just filed the points. On a car, the old cars, they ran better, but I'll tell you what, the new cars, I'll admit the engines are made better and them last longer. And the points are only good for like 8 to 10,000 miles. Same with the plugs. You had your leaded fuel, and that would eat up your mufflers, that would eat up your spark plugs. So I'd carry a spare set. I'd carry 2 spare sets of points. So the car starts running like crap. Unlike these new cars, they just crap out. Your cars with points and condenser would give you a warning and start scripping and running like a piece of crap. You pull over, get the point file out, and file the points. But the car didn't have any power, and with a trunk load of stuff, it just didn't have the power to get out of its own way. It needed a V8 in there. It's a 2-door, standard shift, but I had that car for 17 years, and the engine developed a knock after a while. I always kept the oil up. The oil pressure, we're down to 15 to 20 pounds at idle and about 40 on the highway, but it would go to 55 pounds. I had a manual gauge under the dash. 55 on the highway. But when I used to put Pennzoil in it, 1030, the oil pressure was very low. Pennzoil I never liked because the oil pressure was always low. Quaker State was much better, so I used to use Quaker State 1030 in the car, and I had to use STP to build it up a little bit. You remember STP oil treatment? I used to have a can of that in there. I'd carry extra quarts of oil. The car didn't burn any oil. I could go from New London to Wheeling, which was exactly 600 miles, and it would use maybe almost a quart of oil. So Fords are noted for not burning oil, where Chevys, the oldest Chevys, especially your 6-cylinders, in those years were oil burners. Your Plymouths were oil burners, especially your Plymouths. They were worse than the Chevys. Of those years now. I'm talking about 6-cylinders. I'm not talking about V8s. I have no idea about V8s. I had that car for 17 years, and the frame rotted out, and it would cost quite a bit to have it welded and patched up. So sadly, I had to get rid of the car, and I traded it in. I got rid of that car when we bought our 1990 Ford van we have now in 1999. We traded the 63 Ford Galaxy in. I got $1,300 for it at the car dealer. Well, you know damn well the car dealer marks it up. We paid $10,000 for that 1990 Ford Econoline that we now have. We bought it in 99. It's a 90, so it was 9 years old. It had 49,500 miles on it. Original miles. The oil was spotless. The van was perfect, except that it needed a little work, cosmetic work underneath.
Yeah, it was 96 when you bought that van, actually.
96? Are you sure it was 96?
I believe so, yeah.
How do you remember that? When I'm the one, you weren't even born in 96. Oh, yes, you were. You were born in 87.
Yeah.
96? Okay. Well, Tommy just corrected me. I thought I was good at dates. Okay. All right, well, all right. But how many people can say you had a car for 17 years? One car. Always change the oil on it. Every 3,000 miles, change the oil and filter. Those 6-cylinders of those years, they had a road draft tube. They did not have PCV valves. In 63, I don't know what year they came out, maybe in the late 60s, 67, 68, they might have had it. So it had a road draft tube. Not a PCV valve. There's none of this pollution crap. It didn't have anything like that. You didn't have any of these problems gassing them up with evap systems. You didn't have that BS back then, you know. You had a vent that was open to the air underneath the car, so you never had problems filling them. Same with the '70 Dodge Polara. That was my wife's car when I met her. '70 Dodge Polara was the first car that I had that had a V8 in it. Actually, I had a '72 Dodge Coronet with a 318 in it. I bought that, I believe, when I got rid of. I had several cars. Ford Tempo was a piece of crap. Couldn't get out of its own way. Lousy gas mileage. And, you know, then I had, when I met my wife, I can't remember the exact years and what car came before that, but I had what the heck was it now? I can't remember what I had. Chevy Citation, 1981 Chevy Citation standard shift. That car had a lot of zip and go. My wife used to say, "You got turbo boost on that." Boy, that would fly. Standard shift. Went down with my wife one year with that car down in New Jersey to the Haunted Mansion in Hillside, New Jersey. Long gone. I think it burnt down. And I was in, let's see, it was a speed, fourth gear. I think I was going on the highway and I forgot to shift it into fourth. And I was going in third, I didn't even know it. How are we?
37 minutes.
37 minutes of flapping. Okay, I guess we're still recording. Well, I might as well let it go. Man, do I talk. So I had a few cars, but as I recall, I don't know if the Citation had a computer or not. I know the 93 Tempo did, and I didn't like that car at all. Like I say, it couldn't get out of its own way. And I spent a lot of money on that thing too. And the 90 Ford van outlasted all of them, and the only one that really lasted was the '63 Ford Galaxy. And if the headliner didn't go to hell on me, everything went to hell on the inside of the car, and it needed a lot of work. There's a lot of Bondo on that car, lots of Bondo. And if the frame didn't go and the bottom end of the engine started knocking, but I was told it was the wrist pins. I would probably still have it. You'd hear it knock when you come to a stop sign, you're in gear, and you're slowing down, you can hear it knocking a little bit. Nothing really loud, and so we don't really know what it is, but anyways, I traded that in, and like I say, got either $1,300 or $1,500 for it towards the 1990 van that we got now. But they just mock the cars up, you know. When they make it, you know, these car dealers, they make it like you're going to get a good deal buying a car. You bring in your car and, oh, they're going to give you $2,000, $3,000 or $4,000 for it. They mock the car up that you want to buy first. That's all inflation. You're just kidding yourself and say, oh, geez, I got $2,000 from my Model T Ford. I'm only kidding about that, you know. There he goes. There he goes. I don't know if I'm still recording, if Tommy's in view or not. I guess you're in camera view. I can't see that daylight is drowning out the screen here. All right. The camera's still recording. The light's still on. Yeah, so, you know, that's the way these car dealers are. And when we bought that 90 van from the car dealer, I'm not going to mention the car dealer, it was in New London, Connecticut, because at the time, we were living where we are now, but we bought the car at a car dealer in New London. And I says, well, how about the transmission and stuff like that? What's the guarantee on that? And he says, well, we can sell you, for $800, we can sell you a guarantee for the drivetrain. So they sold us, because we didn't know any better, WINS, WYNNS, WINS, and WINS is an oil manufacturer, oil additive. So you put, they sell you a kit for $800. It gives you a guarantee of, I don't know how many miles, 100,000, 200,000. I don't remember how that, we threw all that paperwork out years ago. So you put a tube in your rear end, not your body's rear end, your vehicle's rear end. You put a tube in the automatic transmission, the liquid to add, and you add it to your motor oil. There was 3 different additives that you had to use, and if you used those and continued using those additives, your drivetrain was guaranteed 100%. So in addition to the 10 grand that the van cost, was another $800 for the WINS warranty for the drivetrain. So so we bought the van from the dealer, and the seats were in it. Of course, it was customized. Wagon wheel was the customizer. The van was a trade-in, and the seats in the back were loose. The 2 seats in the back were loose. And I argued about that with the dealer, and I said the back seats are loose. In other words, the floor, you sit in the seat and the seats rocked. So reluctantly, I had to argue with the dealer, because the dealers don't want to know you after you buy something used. They don't want to know you. Believe me, I can testify to that fact. That's the only time we ever bought a car from a dealer. All right, we'll take it down to the welding. So they took it down to a welding shop in New London, and they pulled up the carpet around the seats, and they welded a plate up underneath and bolted the seats down to it. The welds were broken in the floor where the seats were bolted down from use. The floor wasn't rotted or anything. It just that it had cracks in there. I guess because the van was used a lot. And those seats were used, and there's flexing back and forth. So they put plates up underneath the seats, and they're nice and solid now, and that's fine. But the dealer didn't really want to do that. They didn't, but they did it. And another thing that I told them about, and they gave me a hard time about, is it's got a BB shot on the windshield when we got it, up near the top, over the rear view mirror, where you're not in the line of sight. And they squawked and balked about that too, and I said, well, it's got to be done. So they brought it to a glass place, and they filled in, but they did a lousy job filling it in. It's only the size of a BB hole. It didn't spread. They filled it in, but they did a lousy job on it, and you can notice it. They did a Mickey Mouse job. As a matter of fact, I think they did it themselves and did not bring it to a glass shop. So, don't buy a used car from a dealer. Their dealers are crooks. Every damn one of them are crooks. So, don't tell me about dealers, I had my experience with it. As a matter of fact, I bought the 81 Chevy Citation, come to think of it, that I had, that should run good, from that same dealer, and stupid me, I should have learned my lesson. And they gave me a bad time, because every time I'd go over bumps, it would clunking and clunking and clunking. They checked the spindles, and nothing wrong with it. It needed struts, and they would not do it. So it was clunking the day I got rid of it. And I spent $400 to have a clutch put in that thing, because it's a transverse engine, of course, front wheel drive, and those Chevy Citations, or any of them standard Chevy, you have to almost pull the engine. I had a transmission place replace the clutch on it, and it didn't last long. So I got rid of it. Literally junked it. Engine was good, but the transmission, the clutch rather, did not last. So you can keep your new cars, you know. When we bought this van, we paid $1,100 for a good friend of ours. And yes, we had to put money in it, but the first couple of years we had absolutely no trouble with it at all, except the rear hatch cover, struts had to be replaced. And the guy that I bought the van from told us up front that needs to be replaced. We just kept putting it off, and finally got that done. So I know I've chatted a lot. Are you getting worn out yet, Tom? Okay, I think we're going to end this video. I want to thank you all for watching. Tommy's going to do the editing. I think we're up to 40-some minutes. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope I didn't bore you too much with my flapping. Take care.